Hello Touchdesigner friends, and welcome to my very first tutorial. My name is Steven, and some of you know me through Instagram as perspek.steven. And recently I uploaded some videos of my research for my master thesis in architecture, and lots of you asked if I could make a tutorial. So here I am. This will be a tutorial series, so I think it will be 2 or 3 parts. And in the first tutorial here, I will show you how to set up a basic fluid system, and we will also influence the system so it will look like these 3 videos, and but not hooking it up to an Arduino, but maybe showing it to you through maybe easy sliders and some buttons. And in the second part, I will show you how to hook it up to Arduino and maybe show you how to use 1 or 2 different sensors. So yeah, let's get started. Maybe also a heads up for using the NvidiaFlex solver. So this only works if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. So all Mac users and all of you who don't have an NVIDIA won't be able to do this. So only that you know. So let's turn this off and let's get started. So let's first get an NvidiaFlex solver COM and get an actor. So the actor is the component where the particle is inside. So we're gonna get a sphere. So it's gonna emit these spheres, and first of all we need to change it to polygon and maybe decrease the frequency so it won't be too heavy. So turn on the render flags, and maybe we will also change the size to something like 1.5. And now if we start this simulation, so initialize, and oh, I forgot, we will also be needing to change the flex type to a fluid emitter. And now if we initialize and start it, we will see the particles emitting downwards. So let's maybe also make first a basic render setup. So maybe render, camera, light, and let's get a null, and the camera will look at this null. So let's hook up a transform and a null. Let's also go to the transform, so we change the background to black. Okay, and let's also get these particles maybe not just in a linear motion. So we're going to go on the actor again and maybe increase the emission size 3 by 3. So now it's like more like a fountain and goes everywhere. We can also maybe we will first put it into in a box, so it's not going to just fly down into eternity. So let's get a box. Maybe also increase the size 40, 20, 20. And so in the NvidiaFlex solver, we have to enable boundaries and have it on bounding box, and then we put in the bounding box. So at the moment, I guess we are in a very large box. So maybe if we can see it, we're just going to hook up a geometry and also hook it up a material. A line material. Put it on top of it, and let's change the line far color also to white. And now let's go away with the camera, maybe like something 55, 20. So we are a little bit from on top. Maybe a little bit lower, 55, and go for 60. Okay, now we see everything. Good. So this is actually already a very basic render fluid system. We can see the particles are being emitted and have a collision with this box. But we also see all of these pebbles going away. So this is because we have like a limit of the particle count. So we have to change this. And let's maybe go to, I don't know, 50,000. or maybe 200,000. It's also depending on what your computer will be able to achieve. So maybe you will just have to do a little bit less. So now we have to restart it, initialize and start it. And now we should have more. And maybe we will also have more emission by increasing the speed and going maybe also bigger, 20 by 3. It's maybe okay. And let's change the direction, maybe go minus 90. And let's change this also to the side. Okay. Yes, that's already pretty much it. Now we can also stop the emission by disabling the emission. And now we all have the particles inside. So let's maybe have therefore a keyboard. Let's make this keyboard 2 and hook up a logic. So it's like a on-off toggle. So if I hit 2, it's on, and again off. So we're going to make it active and drag it on top of the enable emission. So now if I hit 2, it's going to start, stop. So let's also do this with the starting simulation. So sometimes if you restart the file, nothing will happen, even though if you press 2 or the starting enabling the emission, you also have to restart the simulation. So let's also just get a keyboard in. And yeah, this doesn't have to be a button. 1 is okay. And let's change, drag it on top of the start sim. So if I start it with 1, I'm going to reset. And then by 2, I can also just enable the emission again. Okay, so in the solver, we also have the properties of this physics system. So changing all of these parameters will also influence how this will react or behave. So let's maybe change this particle radius a bit above, and then maybe also increase this to 200. Surface tension, maybe we go also a little bit up, maybe like 17.8. Then the collision distance, maybe we will also go a little bit up, 0.08. And then we have the shape collision, I think, maybe go down. Maybe we'll also smooth it a little bit. And yeah, that's already pretty much it. So now we have this fluid system. So maybe we can also increase this like by, I don't know, 10. And maybe go a little bit down even. Now we have like a nice fluid. So so this is actually already the basic fluid system. And we can now go and have some parameter changes, hook up them to some buttons or sliders, and we will be able to influence the behavior of this fluid. So I have these 3 kinds. Let's maybe just start with the gravitation. So you'll have here a gravitation in the solver. You go to the solver, and then you see it already has like the gravity, like it's also on Earth with minus 9.1. And then you can change this going to the left or going to the right. So this is pretty cool to play around with. So maybe we will just hook up a slider. Let's get a comp and a path and a node. So now we have to look like what we maybe like, from maybe minus 10 to 10. Looks fine. So let's change the math, and the range from 0 to 1 is going to be minus 10 to 10. So now if I make this active and drag it on top of the gravitation of the x-axis, so let's turn off the emission. And now if I change this, let's turn off also the parameters, we can see so yeah, that's already pretty much it. Then we can also go to have this kind of situation. So let's have therefore maybe a button, or no, let's also just use keyboard since we're already using keyboards. So maybe change this now to a button 3. Have maybe a lag, but also a math in between, and a null. Okay. So we will. Oh, so now in the properties of the solver, so also like particles is very interactive, the radius to change this. So if I go like more up, you can see it's like the radius of the collision is getting larger. So like each of these balls are also going further away. So just changing this, so maybe from range 0.26 to maybe 0.3. Maybe that's already enough. So let's just hook this up. So now if I don't press anything, it's going to be like this. And then if I press 3, you can see all of these particles jumping. So I guess this is a little bit too light. Let's change this maybe to 3.5. Oh, wrong button. So pressing 3 again. Yeah. It's so much fun. Okay. So this is already the second influence part. So now let's have the third one. This is like having these, having here, like splitting the water like Moses. Yeah, this is also pretty simple. Let's do, for this you will be needing a force. So it's also pretty fun. So if you have now a force and make this force field active, and let's increase the strength and maybe also the radius. I guess we're a little bit too high up, so let's go a little bit down. Yeah. So now I think going minus, I think it's better to see what is happening. So a negative strength is like we have like this sphere which it's like a magnet and getting all of these particles. So if I like decrease the radius, it will only hold a less amount of water. And like this way you can also very well see like where the sphere is. So maybe we can go more down. So it's halfway in there. And let's have the force field go again for plus. So now it's going to push them away. And so for it going to pushing it to the side, we were also just going to use a keyboard again. We can also just copy this one here. And let's have the radius change it. So if the radius is 0, we will also have 0 influence. So let's have the range from 0 to 4. Was it 4? Yeah, something like 4. So if I now drag it onto the radius and hitting button, change it to 4 and hitting. What's happened now? Okay, I don't know what happened there, but now it's working again. So let's enable the emission by starting the simulation. Must be a string or a real number, non-type parameters. I don't know what's. Okay, yeah. So this, since I changed here this to 4 and was already hooked up to actually keyboard 3, so let's just restart this again. Okay, so now it shouldn't be a problem. So now if I press 4, we have the particles going away. But let's maybe turn the particle radius off. So let's go maybe something 0.5. And also let's have this in the middle. Oh, not by 10, in the middle. So now if I press 2, not 2, 4, maybe the lag will just be this. Okay. So let's also increase the strength maybe to 100. Okay, so now we only have like this centered force going to the outside, but let's also have it like more splitting the water. And this is also just pretty easy just by copying the force. And I think maybe 5 times. And let's go maybe -3 and 3. So if I hit it again, I think it works better. So now we go here from -6 to 6. Oh, that's pretty much it. So I guess maybe one more would be better. So going from -9 to and also 9. Yeah, nice. Okay, so this is actually all of the 3 different kind of simulations. And there were now some kind of struggles during this tutorial I think you've seen, but this is my first tutorial. I hope you all understood how to make it. And yes, have fun playing around. And if you do something, maybe you can also tag me. And yeah, thank you all for watching my tutorial, and see you next time, where I will show you how to hook it up to an Arduino and play around with some sensors. Thanks. See you.